Hi Pisces, welcome to your week ahead taroscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant signs. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Pisces, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general reads. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. For your key to the week this week, you've got the Justice card, right? So in a lot of ways this week it does look like you are having to commit to something, right? This is where you're going to have to really show up, where you have to be prepared to put your name on the dotted line in some way, shape or form. This is you really tapping into this idea that you are aligning yourself with something for maybe a greater cause than yourself, or maybe for something more than just what you want. In a lot of ways, this card very often shows up when there's a new contract in the works or around, and it doesn't have to be, like for a job. It doesn't even have to be of a financial nature. Sometimes it can be a partnership. So this week, it does look like your partnerships, your connections, but also your commitments, new and old, are really being revised. For those of you that are continued subbies, you know Rafi loves you, and if you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and this resonates, hit the subscribe button. For your actions and options this week, you've got the King of Wands, right? Nice. Okay, so interesting, because there's been a few kind of ways that this has happened this week, but Aquarius got this same card in a different deck in this same position. And if I'm honest, this is a week where you might need to think, not even might need to, like this week, think about putting yourself first in a commitment that comes up, right? So whether this is, if it is a new job, ask for things that you wouldn't normally ask for. If this is a new partnership, if it's a new connection or a new relationship, maybe this is a time for you to really state what you actually want from a partner rather than just settle for what they're willing to give, right? And what I'm talking about here is this week, it's like you're more vocal about what your wants and needs are because you know what you're prepared to put in. If I'm honest, I kind of feel like this is a recalibration of your commitments, your partnerships, your relationships. This is also you committing yourself to getting yourself out there, whether this is on a personal level, a professional level, a platonic level, maybe if it wasn't just for some fun, right? For something creative, very possible. For your communications and conversations, you've got the Knight of Wands. This is a lot of fire energy, right? That Knight of Wands, when it comes to communication, it does appear that there's something that you are really fired up with. Maybe there's somebody that you are smitten with. It's very possible. But for me, the Knight of Wands is what you're really passionate about, like what you will ride out for, like what you're really getting fired up about and talking about a lot. And with the Justice card, this is you being really passionate about a certain commitment when it comes to your work, when it comes to your career. Like this is you, I think in a lot of ways, recommitting or rededicating yourself to your work, which is great. I love this for you. Now, for some of you, this could be thinking outside of the box or thinking further afield than you usually would. For those of you that are employed by somebody else, if I'm honest, I would say to you this week, maybe you're kind of like the Tigger of the office, right? You've got more energy than can be contained, and a lot of people might be like, okay, what's going on? Like, this is one of those times where you might be a bit like, okay, and just having a little bit of a mad moment. And I think that's a good thing. Either which way, work becomes a lot more fun this week. For those of you that are business owners, people that are self-employed, if I'm honest, because you've got that Justice card there, it's like you're going in a different direction. And it's not so much that you're not listening to anybody else, it's more just a case of you're listening to yourself and choosing to dedicate or, commit yourself to the path that you think is best. And I like this because in a lot of ways, especially with that King of Wands, it's like you're really taking responsibility for where the company or your work is going, right? It's like, you know what, if it goes tits up, it goes tits up, but I am taking full responsibility for this because this is where I want things to go from here on in. If you are retired or no longer working for any reason, this would be a good time to plan a vacation. It would be a really good time for you to look into what is going to be fun for you. What is going to be more enjoyable? Like if you're in between jobs, this would be a really good time to look at where your skill set and where your skill set and your experience meet your desires. That's going to be the sweet spot. So if you're in between jobs, look in that sphere this week because that's where you really find it. It could be as well that there are so many fun options this week that you're kind of not really thinking about work or anything like that. For those of you that are retired and not going to go back to work, this would be a really good time, yes, to think outside the box or maybe to even think about a vacation, but it would just as easily be a good time to look into things that you find fun and enjoyable. And for some of you, it looks like you're finding a group or a crowd that you can interact with that are fun, energetic and free. For your love and relations, you've got the Temperance card. So I've got a Sagittarius person here that may feature for you very strongly. And the reason I say that is because we've got the King of Wands. Even though this is in your action sector, it is a fire sign person, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, coupled with the Temperance card, a Sagittarius person. So for those of you that are single, you could be meeting a Sagittarius, very possible. Somebody that is fun, vibrant, possibly somebody that has traveled a lot. If you've traveled a lot as well, this could be, like one of the things that you really bond over, which is great. For those of you that are single as well, it's likely to be in your locality, but the person is just passing through. So I don't know, maybe you meet them at the coffee shop, but they're just coming to visit a friend who lives in the area. Do you know what I mean? Like in transit, you're likely to meet them. For those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, it's slightly different for you guys because the Temperance card does have a very spiritual feel to it. And it might be that this week you and your partner are trying to find ways to connect on a deeper level. With that King of Wands, you might find that you want it to be a bit more physical and your partner maybe wants it to be a bit more intimate. And so you're having to find a way to bridge that gap. It's kind of like one of you is operating on this plane, one of you is operating on this plane, and you have to find a way to do this, right? Sorry, not being uncouth or rude, but you get my point. For your money and materials, you've got the Chariot card. Beautiful. You've got this underneath the Knight of Wands. Planning vacations, trips. It looks like some of you are spending money on travel this week. It looks like some of you are spending or possibly even considering visiting places that you feel are spiritual to you. Not everybody wants to go to Stonehenge, or not everybody feels drawn to Machu Picchu, or, wherever it is in the world. But it might be a place that you feel is spiritual to you. Very possible. But your money is good this week. It looks like there is potential for overtime for some of you. If you're willing to go in for it, especially if you're going into new work or looking for new work, this is the week to negotiate hard, right? If you see a job that you like and you think, yeah, it's all right, but I don't really like the salary, or you think, you know what, I want more money from what I'm doing in the job that I do because I love the job, I love the company, I just want a pay rise. This is the week, right? You've got that go ahead to really dig into it with your boss. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, the Chariot card for me is your stomach and usually your chest. So this could be a week where, the lungs maybe are having a little bit of a challenge. And a part of that with this much fire energy is it could be because you're running yourself ragged. For some of you as well, this may even, and I touch wood, I truly hope I'm wrong, I'm not a doctor, I can't give you medical advice, but you could run a fever this week as well. So just look out for that. When it comes to your home and environment, quite frankly, it looks like this week could be so busy that you're not really spending much time at home anyway. So all good stuff. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. This is a lot of fire. A lot of fire, a little bit of water, a bit of air. With that said, take care and I'll speak to you soon.